What up, y'all? Y'all know what it is, man. Your boy, Trendsetter Sense. And of course, this is Chosen Journey. And wow, man, we got a giant in the building. We got a legend in the building. It was only a matter of time. Had to be done. Very excited to have this brother here, man. He's a pioneer. He's a groundbreaker. He's an award-winning, Grammy award-winning artist, man. I mean, the accolades, are just stacked. He is a man of the kingdom. If you don't know who this man is, you've been under a rock. I'm talking about the legend right here, man. Lecrae, what's up, my brother?
What's going on, man?
Did you like that intro?
That was a long one. First, you said giant. I was like, literally.
Yeah, how tall are you? 6'5"?
Yeah, around
6'5".
Yeah.
I mean, but the accolades are, and just everything that you've done, in the game.
Been blessed, man.
Yes, sir,
Been
man.
blessed, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming and sharing the time with me on this platform right here, man. Got a lot to talk about.
Hey, like I said, man, I'm an open book.
Let's go. Let's go. Man, most recently, Chosen Journey had an opportunity in Miami where we had this amazing platform where Rolling Loud, we were allowed to do this Christian hip hop set on Rolling Loud. Went crazy.
Yeah, I commend you for that. That was massive.
Thank you, man.
That's massive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And the doors are opening, man. And just most recently, yourself and Miles Minnick graced the stage in LA, man.
Yeah, Miles let me come up there. Shout out to Miles, man. Listen, I'll just be glad to, add a little seasoning to the youngins out there, to the next wave. You know what I mean? That's a blessing for me. So just to be able to pop out and show love is like, hey, man, I'm glad to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me how that whole, situation came about. Because y'all got the Pride, y'all dropped a single.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you kind of just dive into that?
I've always been so when I came into the game, there was a group called Cross Movement that was around. There was other groups around who did, Christian hip hop and whatnot. But I didn't feel like everybody just said, come follow us. No one kind of like, when I started moving into mainstream spaces, nobody put their arm around me and said, hey, check this out. This is how you do this. This is this. This is that. And so I always wanted to just be big bro to a lot of these younger artists.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of the mindset that I have. And then when I talked to Miles, what's crazy is I didn't even know this. Miles came up to me in like 2014 and like met me at my tour bus, put $10 in my hand. Was like, I just want to bless you. I want to sow into you what you got going on. I said, man, I ain't taking your $10, bro. He's like, nah, you got to sow where you want to go. I said, man, you good, bro. But fast forward, he was doing his thing on the West Coast. And like I mentioned, though my roots are in Texas, I also spent a lot of time in Southern California. So I love West Coast hip hop as well. So met Miles. He had a song idea he wanted to do years back. We did the song collab. We got to talking. I said, I like him, man. I just like his, his demeanor. We just kept in touch. And then when I was working on my album, I wanted to do some West Coast music. So I had this record called Heaven Sent. And I had him jump on it. He gave it back to me so fast. I said, oh, he works fast. So that was first key. Like, no, this little dude work quick. Now, at the same time, I'm trying to work on my album. So this song was supposed to be on my album, but then I got some sample issues. So, when you're trying to work on an album, sample clearances.
Yeah.
So anyway, we waiting on the sample to get cleared. I can't drop the single I want to drop because the sample ain't cleared. So I'm like, all right, we'll just drop this Heaven Sent record. But as I get out to the Bay for All-Star Weekend, we collab on some content. I'm like,
I'm seeing it on the IG.
Yeah, I said, buddy, work fast. I like his team. I like what he got. I said, the No Church in the Wild was good for 1K Few. Maybe I should do something like that with Miles, just because I want to get this West Coast stuff off. So I just asked him what he thought about it, and he was like, man, I would love to. So that is how the ball started rolling.
Wow.
And here we are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then you graced the stage, and then we have.
Rolling Loud. My bad. My ADD took over, bro. My ADD. I was like, so Rolling Loud. My mama raised me in 19. You know what I'm saying? My bad.
That's the creative side.
Yeah. No, but Rolling Loud. I mean, shout out to you for being a trendsetter.
Thank you, bro.
You know what I'm saying? And
Good
then
one. I
Miles
like that.
said, Miles said, I'm popping up at Rolling Loud. What if what if you pop out and we can do this song together? And I was like, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? No problem. Let's do it. And then the internet went crazy after that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Of course, you got the legend Lecrae in the building, man. Now, speak of that, because you've been talking about, like, you said you in the mainstream spaces and you felt like nobody was putting their arm around you on how to navigate. Can you kind of talk about, like, that experience?
Goodness.
What pops out?
Oh, my goodness. Where do you want to start?
First thing that comes to your mind.
Okay. First thing that comes to my mind is my boy Street Symphony. He used to work with DTP, Disturbing the Peace, Ludacris, and all of them. He meets the Lord. He's like, man, I want to change some stuff. He's like, man, let's work together. But he's still trying to figure it out. So I'm that's my brother, so I'm helping him navigate his new life. But he's still in the industry. So he's trying to figure out how to reach him. And then we talk about doing this collab project called Church Clothes. And it's like, all right, let's do it. Let's get, Don Cannon, and let's get some production. Yeah, from 9th 1 Philly. Yeah, okay. Let's get, and so we doing all this stuff. And then, you put it out, and then fans are like, what are you doing? Why are you collaborating with the world? And what's going on? And I'm like, wait, we trying to reach people. Like, what do you mean? And then you do the BET Cypher, fast forward, and then French Montana's like, hey, yo, man, you killed it. We all going to the strip club. You rolling with us? And it's like, no, but how do I, like, this is a unique space. Like, how do you have conversations with people? How do you meet them on their territory, on their ground, but not, like condemn them, but then not condone the sin and just do the music? And it's like, there was nobody who had done it to be able to be like, oh, Craig, let me show you what this looks like.
So Lecrae's at the forefront.
Bruh.
Wow.
By myself.
Wow.
Well, I have my crew with me. Shout out to my crew, but yeah.
So I'm thinking about that, man. Like, was there apprehension?
Oh, man.
Really?
You trying to figure it out in real time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like watching somebody grow up, like when or swimming lessons. When you see somebody learn how to swim, they look goofy in the mud. They flailing, they flopping everywhere. They kind of got it right. And that was me trying to navigate the mainstream as a Christian. I don't know. I never done this before. So everybody's just watching me drop the ball, pick it up, take a step, fall down, do this, do that. And you get a lot of judgment for it because you're trying to figure it out in real time. And so it wasn't like there was a book or a class. You just like asking the Spirit to lead you. So for me, it was tough because sometimes you sitting on a major show or network and you wondering, is this the time to say Jesus died for your sins? Or is this the time to say, how are you doing? Is your mom okay? Like, I don't know. What do you do? So that was a wild time for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Of course, we got Lecrae in the building, man. This is Chosen Journey, man. Talk about the rise of Christian hip hop, like the breakthroughs, and you're responsible for a lot of them. You get what I'm saying?
Man.
Where do you see things going?
I love also. Okay, so and I say this humbly, very humbly. I feel like Lil Wayne of Christian hip hop. And reason why I say that is this. Wayne had all the elements of the classic golden era of hip hop, which is lyricism, storytelling. Like, he had all of those, but he also had the new elements too. He had kind of that punk rock star stuff. It was like he had both worlds combined. So the new generation didn't really care about the lyricism, didn't really care about the storytelling, but they liked the punk rock element, the not writing stuff down, and just the wild aspect of it. So in a way, they didn't keep the full legacy that he was carrying on his back. I feel like that in a sense because when I came in, yes, I mixed it up in the mainstream. Yes, I was making stuff that was palatable and like was current and relevant. But I was holding on to biblical truths in that process.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so I felt like there was a season where people was just trying to get to BET to follow what I did and not trying to hold on to the truth in their journey to do so. So it's taken a second, but I feel like this next wave that's coming in now really cares about the truth and is really solid and is really standing on the Lord. It took some figuring out, but I love what I'm seeing right now. Like, they sound really good. They sound better than mainstream. If I'm being honest with you,
let's keep it 1,000.
they sound better.
That's why Chosen Journey is here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, y'all, they sound amazing. They message is consistent and they relevant and it's just like it's a beautiful thing to see.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
man. I heard you mention seasons, and then I've seen you, talk about on social media. You talked about seasons.
Mm-hmm.
What season is Lecrae in right now?
I'm in the planting season.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm planting. I don't know what's gonna harvest. I don't know. I'm just planting seeds everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think God has allowed me to see a lot of growth from other seasons in my life of planting seeds. But and I'm also in there's two eras in a person's life in your journey, right? Era one is when you function with like this fluid wisdom, right? Like fluid intelligence. You quick, you nimble. Somebody throw a beat on, you can freestyle and just go crazy. You can travel everywhere. You quick. It's like an NBA player who just got in the league. They doing all kind of crazy dunks. The second season of life is crystallized intelligence. It's when you may not be able to do all the stuff you used to do, but you know you LeBron. I know where to stand. I know where to hit that J at. I know what play they about to run. I know how this works. And the only way you win in the second season is if you stop trying to live like you in the first season. You know what I'm saying? Too many of us keep trying to live off of the old stuff that we did. Like, you remember when I used to, oh man, and it's like, bro, that's gone. Move into the new season now where you're useful as a leader, as a general. It's like Deion Sanders. Deion is just as great now as he was then. He's just great in a different way. You see what I'm saying? So that's the season I'm in now. I'm not trying to be the dopest artist out. I'm not trying to kill the Billboard charts, none of that type of stuff. I'm trying to use my platform, my insight, my wisdom to help the next wave. You know what I'm saying? So
Wow.
Miles was even kind of curious. He's just like, why'd you do this? Why'd you do this? And I was like, for you. It's just like, that's it. You know, there ain't no strings attached. It's just for you because I want to see you win. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You talked about, as you're in your creative process, putting this album together, you said this next album will get you unstuck.
That's right.
Can you talk about like your meaning behind what you were trying to get across?
Yeah, I think in our Christian journey, our chosen journey, you dig. A little plug right there.
Yeah.
In the journey though, usually you go 1, 2, 3. You meet the Lord, you on fire, you start getting disciple, you learn your Bible, then you start serving. You start doing something. But what happens a lot of times is people hit a wall. And something happened, faith crisis happened, mama passed away, church hurt you, something happened, and you hit a wall, and 1, 2, and 3 ain't working like they used to. You know what I'm saying? I can't go back and do these things. So a lot of times people either get real complacent and they stop being the serious, passionate believers they used to be, or they chunk the faith altogether. They just, man, I'm done with this. I'm out of here. And so people get stuck and they don't know what to do. They just start pretending. They start pretending they on fire like they used to be. Oh yeah, hardcore Jesus. It's like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. You start writing these little songs, these Jesus anthems that that's not what you own. You at a place in life where you're dealing with real stuff. You're dealing with pain, with loss, with raising kids, whatever it is. And I want to write music for people in that era or that phase of their journey. You know what I mean? So if you hit that wall, I've hit that wall. You know, I done hit the wall where I was like, I'm done with the faith altogether. This is dumb.
Really?
And God had to like show me, a different, like, oh no, it's time to do some inner work, Cray. It's time, and you can't read your way out of this. You can't listen to enough sermons to get out of this. You got to let the Spirit transform you. It's gonna take some pruning before, and there's no timeline on this thing. You know what I'm saying? So before, in our faith, a lot of times we can just like do the stuff and we feel good about it. We confident, like, yeah, I read this and I did my devotional this morning and I'm on fire. Then you get to a place where it's like, yeah, I did all them things. I still feel away. And it's like, that's the journey. That's when you just gotta stay at it and let him take you through. So that's the music that I got for folks.
Nice.
Yeah.
You were talking about this hit the wall. Was this Lecrae's Job moment?
Oh yeah. Job.
Yeah.
Job ain't got nothing on me, bro. Job that's light work. When I see Job in heaven, I'm be like, oh yeah, that's what you got. Let me tell you about my story, Job.
Is there something that you can share?
Yeah, I can share it all. I don't care. No, I'm joking though. I didn't lose all my family, my kids, and my cattle though. That didn't happen. But
It was a lot going on.
it was a lot though. Yeah. No, I just got to a place where I came into the game bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I was naive. I was green. I thought everybody loved Jesus. We was all on the Jesus team. And then, you get on the big tours and you like, hey, they doing drugs over there. They sleeping with each other in the bunk. What's going on? And you a little bit like, hey, man, what's happening over here? I thought we was on Team Jesus. So then you get a little disenchanted and you like, man, this thing fake. You know what I'm saying? So if this thing fake, why am I trying so hard? What's going on here? You start feeling. So now I'm reading the Bible. It just feel like black ink on white pages. And I'm just like, I don't know what is up and what's down. And that's when Satan comes in and it's like, oh yeah, I got him. He vulnerable right now. And so in that vulnerable space, I started speaking out about the injustice I was seeing in society and certain things like that. And then I'm seeing the Christians who I looked up to start talking crazy about me. And now I'm like, wait a minute. I read your books. If you say I'm wrong, but I know you wrong about this thing we talking about, what else are you wrong about? Maybe you wrong about everything. Maybe you wrong about the Bible. Maybe the whole Bible's wrong. And that's when I was like, well, why am I trying so hard? And I was like, I'm done. I'm out. And I've never been a half stepper. Like people be like, oh, you lukewarm. I ain't a lukewarm type of person. If I'm in, I'm in. If I'm out, I'm out. When I say I'm done, I'm done. So I've always been that kind of way. I'm gonna jump all the way off the cliff. So in that season of my life, and it's funny because in that season of my life, I was like, yeah, I don't really know if this Christian thing is real anymore. And it's funny because one of the employees at Reach, we was doing a podcast episode, and he was like, yeah, so break down the struggles you're having right now. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if Jesus is real right now. He's like, yep, nope, we're not putting this out.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? We can't put this episode out. This is not going to work.
Wow.
So Satan used that time because during that time I had songs, that were in the mainstream. Satan is like, oh, I'm going to bless them now. And you don't got to go to churches no more. You can go to stadiums and you can go to clubs. You can go perform Blessings with you and Ty Dolla $ign. You can go perform I'll Find You. Hey, you didn't really talking about God. You just tell people about good things. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah, I ain't talking about God no more. I'm just talking about good things. But internally I'm wrestling. And man, God he had to beat me up. You know what I'm saying? Beat me up really bad. Beat me down to where I was convicted of my sin. I was destroyed. I was, started wrestling with depression and anxiety. And I like Nebuchadnezzar. I crawled myself back home. And God met me.
Turned you into the animal.
Turned me to an animal, bro. You know what I'm saying? Losing my mind out there. So that's the short version.
That's the short end.
Yeah.
As I'm hearing this conversation, man, and you're talking about the balance and stuff like that. And a lot of times us as people, we get caught up in God's approval and man's approval. Tell me about that conflict and how somebody can straighten their path and understand that God's approval is all you need. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, what you're saying is it's really about identity. And a lot of times we base our identity on what other people say versus we think our identity is something that we achieve versus something that is received. You don't earn your worth and your value. It was given to you. And I think that's part of the struggle for a lot of us is we look around and we say, well, if they like me and if they like me, then I must matter. Not realizing God said before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. So you always mattered. And I think, I always say if you live for their acceptance, you'll die from their rejection. Because if people are your standard of worth and value, you going to be crushed when people say you're not good enough. If your value is having the best this or the most that, as soon as somebody got more than you or is better than you, then who are you? So, but when God says you matter, when God is where you get your sense of worth and value from, you always gonna be good.
Right.
Always gonna be good.
Right.
Yeah.
You did a collaboration recently with DMX.
Yeah.
Bear With Me.
Whew.
And I'm gonna quote these lyrics. Been running since a child. What was Lecrae doing like that inspired that prayer that you were saying on that particular song, and how did this collaboration come about?
Yeah, I really love X. I relate to him so much. I think X was a tormented soul. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody who knew the Lord and his addictions and his trials and his trauma from childhood kept him tormented. You know what I'm saying? But God, I think in God's kindness, God brought him home. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like, in my kindness, let me bring you on home so we can eliminate all of this. So I really related to him, and I related to that struggle, that internal pain, that childhood trauma. You know, I had tons of childhood trauma and just been running, trying to find value, find worth in so many different things. And you know, I finally found it in the Lord.
Mm.
And that's the part where I knew I could connect with X on in that song. The way the song came about was one of my good friends is Warren Campbell.
Okay.
Warren Campbell, who a lot of people know is the world famous producer for everybody in the game,
Right.
and also husband to Erica Campbell,
Mhm.
Mary.
Right.
So Warren says, man, this DMX project fell into my lap, and there's nobody else I can think of
Wow.
but you. So he produced it all. He was like, I gotta have you on it. And I was like, say less. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about. We'll get into some hip hop because I know that you breathe the culture of
Yes,
hip hop.
sir. Yes, indeedy.
Discipline and obedience.
Hmm.
Yeah. Particularly our brother Kanye.
Oh, my Lord.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my Lord.
Who, of course, you know, he's done his inspirational gospel projects, and then he,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
I ain't scared of you, Kanye. I ain't scared of you. You can blast me if you want to online. I ain't scared. God got me. You know what's funny, man? I've stood in the gap for Ye often because, you know, I just know I'm removed from what's really going on internally.
Mm.
I don't know if he's not taking his meds. I don't know if he needs meds. I don't know if he's spastic and you know, mentally disintegrating. I don't know if he's mentally healthy and is just ignorant as all get out. I
Wow.
don't know what the situation is, but I do know anytime you're acting in a way that's anti-God, there's a spiritual war going on. I do know there is satanic and demonic forces at play when you see this type of interaction. So all I can do for him is pray for this dude because I don't know unless he wants to invite somebody in and say, challenge me, help me, guide me, lead me. All I can do is pray for him.
Right.
He is responsible. We all culpable and responsible for our actions. You responsible for them words you spit out there. You responsible for that hate you spewing and that nonsense that you kicking. You responsible for that. But at the same time, I do know a God who will erase your sins as far as east meets west.
Right.
So it doesn't mean the damage you've done can be erased. It just means that, you know, the guilt that sits on you is taken away. So I always say, like, if I'm driving a car and I crash and hit my wife and break her leg, like she can forgive me and say, you're forgiven, sweetheart. But there's nothing I can do to heal her leg. You know what I'm saying? So the damage there is done. Nothing I can do. All I can do is ask her for forgiveness. So I think in a person like Ye's situation is, people are going to have to forgive him. Everybody's not going to forgive him. God will.
Yeah.
But a lot of damage has been done. And man, I pray that he sees the light.
Absolutely, man. Let's talk about Reach Records. So many artists have broken and become stars. Tell me, man, like what's the secret sauce, man? And then, you know, when we had the conversation about Miles, you talked about how you like pouring into young brothers and really uplifting, man. And, you know, my brother Hovey, man, you got 1K Few, What Up RG. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on, man. What's the sauce?
I think honestly, it's some of it is collaboration right? When you have collaborative people, everybody kind of working to make sure the best thing comes out the gate. So some of it is just like people being willing to collaborate and say, hey, what is it going to take for this to work, for that to work, for this to work? Um, the short answer is being honest. If I'm gonna be 10,000% honest,
Mhm.
we're snobs.
Mm.
I'm just saying we are snobs over there. We are very critical of the craft. You know, we craft snobs. So it's like, hey, I rewrote the verse for I'll Find You 7 times.
Wow.
And people had to, when I did Spread the Ops, I remember my brother who was on the marketing team came in there and he was like, people haven't heard from you in a long time. Is that the first verse you want them to hear? I said, all right. I went and changed it. You got to be humble enough to receive that from somebody who doesn't even make music and change your verse. So, snob is maybe the wrong term, but I guess it's that critical craftsmanship and just being able to push back and say, is that the best you could do?
Mm.
Do you think you can beat that? What if we challenge that? And I think anybody who wants to be great has to go through those motions. And then, lastly, is God. You know, if you're willing to put in the work, then you let faith do what it does. Faith without works is dead. So did you do your work? Okay, well, you do your best and let God do the rest. That's what it comes down to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about, because you speak at a lot of churches as well. You have a ministry, you lead your ministry as well,
Yeah.
on top of being a rapper. How do you balance that? How do you prepare for you speaking to a church?
Yeah.
And then, as an artist, you're speaking to the youth and people that want to hear you as a rapper. Like, how does Lecrae balance that?
Well, balance is a myth. It don't exist. Let me tell you, I'll get up, like, what morning was it? I don't even remember what morning it was, but I got up in the morning, took my daughter to school, took her to school, went to the gym, worked out at the gym, left the gym, jumped on a call with my pastor to go over some sermon notes because he wanted me to speak at the church. Go over some sermon notes with my pastor for 20 minutes. As soon as that 20-minute mark hits, I got a phone call with my podcast team. So now I got a meeting with the podcast team. As soon as that podcast meeting is over, I have 10 minutes before I got to interview somebody on the podcast. So now I'm interviewing somebody on the podcast. Then that's over with. I got my second guest. Then when my second guest is done, we have a new artist at Reach, Alexander. So I got to go do some content with Alexander. And when I'm done doing content with Alexander, I got to go pick my son up from track practice, get my son from track practice, go home, make dinner because my wife has took my daughter to volleyball practice. So now I'm cooking dinner. I cook dinner. After I cook dinner, I sit down with my son, both of my boys. We have a conversation about scripture, about God, so on and so forth. And then I can shut it off.
Wow.
It's not about balance. It's about prioritizing. So prioritize what matters in the moment. You just got to be able to say, hey, what's most meaningful right now? And then what's going on? If there's a crisis in my family, that's what I need to, I'm sorry, I got to cancel this meeting, cancel that. This is going to take precedence. If there's a crisis at work, family's good. Hey, you mind cooking tonight? I'm going to do that. I got to, you know what I mean? So it's really not about balance as much as it's prioritizing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
2025, you got the project coming out. You got the EP with Miles Minnick. Talk about it, man. Reach Records, everything that's going on.
So yeah, the EP with Miles, we hadn't, this is the exclusive because we ain't told nobody about it for real. So exclusive.
There it is.
But it's a project with Miles, man, called Get Well Soon.
Okay.
Because we feel like, man, the world is sick, it's broken, and we want them to get well. So this is a get well card to y'all, just some healing. We bring some healing music. It's also a challenge to those of us who are stuck to get well soon. All right? Like, don't sit on it. Don't wait on it. Go take your medicine, man.
Yeah.
And man, it's just dope, man. We got together. It's a lot of surprises on the project, so I ain't gonna give all of those away, but it's really amazing. It's some of the best music I think Miles has ever made. And I had fun doing it. We got it done in like 2 weeks. It was just bam, 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 bam.
Nice.
And as soon as we got it done, the sample clearance that I needed for my album came through. So now, you know what I'm saying, we ready to get into the album, and I'm excited for people to get this album too, man. It's a blessing. I've been making a lot of music, so we'll see what happens.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
I love it, man. The legend, man. Lecrae, bro.
Hey,
Thank
man,
you so
I'm
much.
I'm in here.
Let's
man.
do
No,
it.
man, and much love to you. I got to show you some love, man,
Oh.
because sincerely, it takes advocates who understand the culture and understand their responsibility to, you know, to be a bridge. And I mean, everybody is not a bridge, but you are.
Thank
you know what I'm saying? You're a bridge to the culture, and we need you, and we're grateful for you, man. And so I appreciate everything that you have done, that you continue to do, and man, I hope you keep on.
We're going to keep on keeping on.
Yeah,
we got,
for sure.
a lot of work to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much, man. My brother Lecrae, man.
Indeed.
Trendsetter Sense. You see it, the legend.
Hey,
of course, this is Chosen Journey.
Let's go.